All right, this is going to be the final set of notes for Chapter 8. This time, this is the most important part, really. This is learning how to find the equation of an exponential when you're given 2 points. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to start it by setting up a system of equations by substituting the values in for each point. Okay. And then we're solving for A and B just like we would do in a regular substitution. We're solving for our variables, and then we're going to write our equation. So here we go. I'm going to show you how to do the first one. So what's going to happen is you're going to put the equation with the highest must go on, so that with the highest x must go on top, and I'll explain that in just a second. Okay. So if I look at the 2 points it gave me, the biggest x is the 4. So x is 4, y is 48. Using my equation, which is y equals ab to the x, I'm going to put 48 equals ab, and we don't have to use the parentheses, to the 4th power. Then do this other equation. So 3 equals ab to the 0. Now normally with systems of equations we would be trying to add them together to get rid of a variable. But we have no addition here. What we have is all multiplication. So the opposite of multiplication is divide. So we're going to divide everything. So 48 divided by 3 is 16. A divided by 8 divide out. And b to the 4th divided by b to the 0. If you remember, when you divide, when dividing exponents, you subtract. Okay? So 4 minus 0 leaves me with b to the 4th. Now's where our calculator is going to come in. To get rid of the 4th power, just like if you're trying to get rid of a square, you take a square root. To get rid of a 4th power, you do it to the 4th power. Do it to a 4th. So you're going to need a calculator that does different roots on it. Please look on Schoology. Texas Instruments is allowing for a 90 or 6 months now. They changed it from 90 to 6 months, where you can get like a graphing calculator from the school, but you can put it on your computer. So right now, you can get it for a computer, that if you have a computer at home. Hopefully in the next, today is the 19th, maybe by next week, they're hoping to have one out for a Chromebook. I'll keep you updated. All right. But I would put that on your whatever device you have so you can do your work. All right, so to get to the 4th, so we're going to put 4 first because we want the 4th root. Press math. And if you look down here to number 5, it's got an x with a little root on it. That's what we want. And you notice how the 4 is now inside the root to the 16th power. Enter. And that gives me 2. So 2 is equal to b. So now that I have b, I just need to find a. So the easiest thing in the world to do is look at your x's. Which one's easier to work with? Well, 0 is easy to work with. So I'm going to go back to my equation, and I had 3 is equal to a times 2 to the 0 power. 2 to the 0 is 1, so this is 3 is equal to a times 1. So 3 is equal to a. There's my b, there's my a. Write my equation, y equals 3 times 2 to the x. There's the equation for it. All right, let's do the next one. Find the exponential equation that passes through the points 348 and 192. Again, starting with the larger x. This is x, this is y. So 192 equals AB to the 5th power. Do the other equation. 48 equals AB to the 3rd power. Please follow this way, not with if you're doing the classwork assignments from the book, please don't do the way the book is doing it. I think it's too confusing. All right, so divide these. 192 divided by 48 gives me 4 equals A over A divides out, and they should always divide out. And B to the 5th divided by B to the 3rd, well, what's 5 minus 3? And that is B squared. So now that's a square, so I'm going to do the square root. So B is equal to, the square root of 4 is 2. So now I already have B. Solve for A. Again, I'd probably pick the smaller equation. It's easier to work with. 48 equals A times 2 to the 3rd power. 2 to the 3rd is 8. So 48 equals A times 8. Divide by 8. And use your calculator. 48 divided by 8 is 6, is equal to A. Write our equation. Y equals 6 times 2 to the x. Alright, so what I'd like you to do is I want you to pause the video right now, try the next one on your own, and then come back. Alright, so let's check your answers. You should get 112 is equal to AB to the 5th. And then you have 14 equals AB squared. So 112 divided by 14. And that's 8 equals, A's cancel out, 5 minus 2 is B to the 3rd. Taking the cube root. Math. Again, remember you have to put what type of root you're putting in before you can go to your calculator. Enter, and that's 2 equals B. So 14 is equal to A times 2 squared. Well, that's 14 is equal to A times 2. So I'm going to divide by 4. Or excuse me, A times 4, I'm sorry, A times 4. 2 squared is 4. 14 divided by 4 is 3.5. So sometimes you can get a decimal. It's okay. Don't freak out. All right, write our equation. Y equals 3.5 times 2 to the x power. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's that first page. Let's go to the next page. Now we're going to get some word problems, but don't let them freak you out, okay? Just pull out the information, and if you write it as a point. Write an exponential equation to model the following situation. Rami likes to collect Zum-Zums. In 2015, she started her collection with 12. So if she started her collection with 12, that's our starting value. There's A already. A is equal to 12. They gave it to us. Today she has 2,916. Well, today is 2020. So we can write an equation for this. How many years has passed? So you're going to take the 2020. So n is going to equal the x. Why is my, there we go, x equals 2020 minus, I'm sorry why this is doing this, minus 2015 gives me 5. So the only thing we have left to find is our b value. All right, so I know this is my ending value, so that's my x, or my y, I'm sorry. So 2,916 equals 12 times b to the 5th power. Divide this by 12. So, let's see, 2,916 divided by 12 gives me 243 equals b to the 5th. Do the same thing, do the 5th power. 5 math, number 5 there, 243, and it gives me 3. 3 is equal to b. So there's my equation, y equals 12 times 3 to the x. Now if you didn't catch the fact that they gave us the original, we could also do this, and I think I'll do it in, I'm going to move my calculator over, if it'll let me. I'm going to do it like the way we were doing it. So we started in 2015. So I'm going to give you 2 ways. You don't have to write this down if you understood the other one, but if you didn't understand, write this one down. In 2015 we had 12. And today, which is 2020, she has 2,916. Now writing it as points, we do exactly what we did before. Now our x that's larger goes on top. So 2,916 equals a b to the 2020. Don't worry about the numbers being so big. And then do the same for the other equation. 12 is going to equal a b to the 2015. And divide them just like we did. Well, we already divided, so 219 divided by 12 is 243 equals, the a's are going to cancel, and 2015 to 2020 divided by 2015 is going to give me b to the 5th, and then we just still do the same things. We're going to get that same 3. Okay? And then we can put it back in. Alright? But it would give me that. Okay. Here. Now I'll move the calculator over again. Elmer loves rabbits. He started with 24. After 6 years, the number of rabbits had grown to 1,536 of the furry little animals. Write an exponential equation to model. Okay, so when x was 0, we had 24. And after 6 years, we have 1,536. Set it up. So put the larger x on top, so 1,536 equals ab to the 6th power. And then we have 24 equals ab to the 0. Divide. 1,536 divided by 24 is 64. A's cancel, and 6 minus 0 is 6. Okay, so same thing. We're going to do it this time to the 6th power. 6 math there of 64 is 2. Now write our equation. So start with so 24 equals a times 2 to the 0 power. 2 to the 0 equals 1. So a is equal to 24. So my equation is y equals 24 times 2 to the x. Alright, so that's our video for the last, I think that's it for the notes. Alright. I'm also going to make one more video of the first page of notes that we took before we left, just to remind you, okay, how to graph an exponential. That'll be the